Shalom. Today I'm teaching you a prayer that, when said with the right understanding, can genuinely shift your financial reality. But first, I need to be honest with you. This is not a magic spell. It's not a shortcut. It's not a cheat code. What I'm about to share is one of the oldest prayers in Jewish tradition. And its power isn't in the words themselves. It's in what those words do to your mind, your focus, and your actions. If you say it mindlessly, nothing will change. But if you say it with understanding, it will change how you think, how you act, and ultimately, how wealth flows into your life. Here is the prayer. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehakol nihye bidvaro. In English, Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, by whose word everything came to be. That's it. One sentence, about 15 seconds to say. Now let me explain why it's powerful, word by word. Baruch atah Adonai. Blessed are you, Lord. This isn't flattery. This is a recognition that there is a source of all abundance greater than you. Not your job, not your hustle, not your connections. The source is infinite. When you say these words with awareness, you shift from thinking, I have to grind to survive, to I am connected to an infinite source of provision. That shift alone reduces fear, reduces desperation, and opens your mind to possibilities you couldn't see before. Eloheinu melech haolam, our God, King of the universe. This is about sovereignty. When you acknowledge that God governs, not the economy, not your boss, not your circumstances, you stop feeling like a victim of your situation. You start operating from faith instead of fear. And people who act from faith make bolder, smarter decisions than people who act from panic. Shehakol nihye bidvaro, by whose word everything came to be. This is the deepest part. God creates through speech. In Genesis, he speaks and reality forms. Let there be light, and there was light. You are made in that image, which means your words, your declarations, your inner dialogue, they shape your reality. Not magically, but psychologically and practically. What you speak to yourself consistently becomes what you believe. What you believe determines how you act. How you act determines your results. Now let me tell you why most people say this prayer and nothing happens. They say the words, but their mind is saying something completely different. Their lips say, God is my source, but their thoughts say, I'm broke and terrified. That contradiction cancels everything out. I had a student, let's call him David. He said this prayer twice a day for months. Nothing changed. When I asked what he was thinking while praying, he said, Please God, I need money, I'm desperate. That was the problem. He was praying from scarcity. He was using words of abundance while feeling total lack. And that feeling was overpowering the words. When he shifted, when he started praying from a place of recognition and trust rather than desperation, things changed. In 3 months, his income doubled. In 6 months, his debt was clearing. In 1 year, he had 6 figures saved. Same prayer, different consciousness, different results. Here's how to say it correctly. 5 steps. Step 1. Breathe first. Take 3 slow, deep breaths before you pray. With each exhale, consciously release anxiety and scarcity. With each inhale, invite clarity and faith. This isn't a ritual, it's neuroscience. You're calming your nervous system so your mind can actually receive what the prayer offers. Step 2. Visualize the source. Before you speak the words, take 5 seconds to picture abundance. Not money specifically, but the concept of infinite supply. A river that never runs dry. A fountain that never stops. This primes your mind toward possibility instead of limitation. Step 3. Say the prayer slowly and deliberately, not robotically. Mean each phrase. Baruch atah Adonai. I recognize you as the source. Eloheinu melech haolam. I trust your sovereignty over my life. Shehakol nihye bidvaro. I align with creative, declaring power. Step 4. Declare your abundance. After the prayer, spend 30 seconds speaking it forward. I am provided for. Wealth flows toward me. Opportunities are opening. I am a vessel for blessing. Not as fantasy, as a declaration of direction. Step 5. Act. This is everything. Do not pray and sit. Pray and move. Make the call. Send the proposal. Start the project. Apply for the position. The prayer shifts your consciousness, but action is how consciousness becomes reality. Let me share 3 brief examples of real transformation. Sarah, single mother, 2 jobs, barely surviving. She added this prayer to her morning routine with full intention and matching action. Within 1 month, she received a 40% raise. Within 6 months, her side business exceeded both her job incomes combined. Within a year, she was financially free. Michael, entrepreneur with a struggling business. He began praying before every major business decision. The prayer wasn't magic, but it changed how he showed up. He stopped discounting out of fear. He raised his prices. He attracted better clients. In 1 year, he built a 7-figure business. Rachel, over $100,000 in debt. She added this prayer with a concrete action plan. She negotiated with creditors. She cut expenses. She increased income. Within 2 years, she was completely debt-free. Within 3, she had $100,000 in savings. The pattern is clear. The prayer didn't perform miracles. It transformed mindset. And transformed mindset produced transformed action. And transformed action produced transformed results. Now, there's a second half to this practice that most people skip, and without it, the formula is incomplete. The evening gratitude prayer. Every evening before you sleep, say this: Thank you, God, for everything I received today. Then name it. The client who called, the bill that was less than expected, the idea that came to you, the encouragement you received. Name it specifically. The Talmud asks, who is rich? And answers, he who is satisfied with his portion. Gratitude is not passivity. It's the practice of noticing what's already working, so your mind can find more of it. Think of it this way. You cannot pour water into a cup that's already overflowing with anxiety and ingratitude. Gratitude empties the cup. It creates space to receive more. The complete daily formula. Morning, the abundance prayer. Align with the source. Declare your direction. Act from faith. Evening, the gratitude prayer. Acknowledge what came in. Create space for more. One student did this for 30 days without exception. The first week, nothing externally changed, but his perspective shifted. The second week, small windfalls appeared. A refund, an early payment, a discount. The third week, a new client, a raise. The fourth week, a job offer at double his salary. He took it. His entire financial life changed in 1 month of consistent practice. Here's the truth. Jewish tradition has practiced this prayer before every meal and drink for thousands of years. And historically, Jewish communities have produced extraordinary wealth per capita, not because of luck, but because of this principle deeply embedded in their culture. God is the source. Words have power. Gratitude multiplies blessing. You now have access to this ancient wisdom. Say the prayer, understand it, embody it, act from it. In the comments, tell me, will you commit to this practice for 30 days? And if this opened your eyes to a different understanding of prayer and wealth, subscribe. Next week, I'm teaching the ancient Jewish practice of tzedakah and how giving actually multiplies what you receive. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehakol nihiyeh bidvaro. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, by whose word everything came to be. Say it, mean it, live it. Shalom.